8:32 a.m. It's February 2nd, 2026. And what I've been capturing images of is the maintenance of the fake sun right here, where the entity is maintaining criminal surveillance. Criminal surveillance by an entity, that's by government, that's by a group, that's gang stalking, group stalking, engaging in what is demonic behavior. And they do so while you're identifying commercial actors such as Southwest Airlines, such as an airport, the Ontario International Airport, such as the government, such as the fire department, ambulances, who are so-called EMTs, while they're abusing their position in the same exact identical environment that doesn't change, and it doesn't become irrelevant when they are engaged in the same criminal system, using those means of cloaking themselves, that is concealing the corruption that they are engaging in and facilitating amongst a population. That's what's relevant regarding this fake sun that's over me at this bus stop, where my documentation shows it's over me at this bus stop at 12:30 in the afternoon, where I am showing you also the maintenance of what is the fake sun that's remaining bigger picture on this same block. This is F Street. Let me show you this. This is F Street and the Ovid Family Community Library, where the entity then goes to, on the opposite side of this parking lot, the gas station, the apartment complex, downtown Ontario, which is along C Street. That's where the fake sun that is in alignment to me here remains in alignment to me there, and it does not exceed beyond this street. The fake sun rising in alignment to me, the fake sun setting in alignment to me at Ovid Family Community Library. This is where a population is stalking. And this stalking conduct is pursuant to what is an agency. The agency which is existing between the government itself, the public entity, and the people of the state who are in the shoes of the government. They are not private citizens, while they are engaging in the pattern of conduct which is established in the specific environment, which is supernatural. And speaking to a fake sun rising and setting, speaking to their presence in that environment and their supernatural conduct, their behavioral patterns, such as creating methods of light activity. This is not a malfunction, it's a method of light activity, and it's a demon while you're looking at that tail light flashing. And you've seen them engaging in what is showing you that they are fully, knowingly, and intentionally sharing the pattern of conduct with the engineer light that moves across the wall, because that's never produced with regard to just driving on the street if the people of your state weren't demons who were gang stalking you as well, who were not angry and hostile, violent sex offenders engaging in what is means of psychologically torturing you. That agency is speaking to what is intentional presence. Okay, so with regard to the documentation, because I've already shown you a pattern of conduct, the entity engaging what are acts of violence of me at the Ontario Museum of History and Arts for a term of years, especially when I get particularly damning evidence, as this entity estimates it, because it's all damning, all of it is damning. And the entity is engaging in what are acts of violence, including not only molestation, sexual assault, and battery with light, while they're monitoring in furtherance of murder, while they are stalking in order to do so. Okay, the entity is engaging in that pattern of conduct. This entity that I'm documenting committed assault and battery last night, touching on my buttocks while I'm at this bus stop, and this is following the Ontario police being identified in video documentation, Mike Lorenz being identified in video documentation. Mike Lorenz is acting through all of this population right now. You need to understand that. That department is engaging in what is sexual assault and battery through a population right now. That's why Mike Lorenz is subject to federal prison, okay? License 27579J2 commits assault and battery, sexual assault and battery, touching on my buttocks while in the middle of the night, while you are stalking, because that's exactly what this population is doing, and this population committed an unlawful touching. They are always doing so, and they're doing so right now while the system of monitoring is underway, because this is not the sun, and this is not sunlight. Neither is sunlight shooting off of your car. They're all means of touching while they are monitoring my purpose, serving a criminal purpose, in other words, while they are engaging in federal group stalking and monitoring. The entity is, in other words, engaging in what is psychological torture while sexually violating you, and that unlawful touching pursuant to engineered light is going to be equally treated under what is federal law. It's going to be addressed as such, and that's exactly what it is, while the entity is psychologically harming your mind while you're being touched and harassed and terrorized in such manners that are supernatural, speaking to the fact that they're, again, engaged in an agency with the government. That agency committed sexual assault and battery, and I want to document that. Mike Lorenz committing sexual assault and battery, touching my buttocks, doing so vicariously through the people of the state. The ongoing documented pattern of sexual violence, of ongoing harm, physical battery, while the theft of my property, all means of what are obstructing justice, harassing and terrorizing and sexually violating me through the people of the state, as I document the violent sex offenders, the stalkers, the proven vagina monitors that they are. This is relevant to the documentation that I captured last night at the DD's Discounts in the parking lot of the Ontario Village Shopping Center, where the people of the state are sex offenders stopping in the path with light. This is exactly the daytime version of that. Stopping in front of you with your headlights because they want to touch you while they're monitoring. This is accomplished while a fake sun remains over you and they are maintaining presence. That's the same conduct during the day. Okay, as I document the violent sex offenders that they are, the demons that they are, 9TVJ867 commits sexual assault and battery, touching on my buttocks in the middle of the night, consistently committing a battery, hitting on the bench that I'm on, committing what is a means of hitting my person. In other words, it's attached to my person, it's a battery. It's no different with regard to the entity that's committing tortious acts, but this is beyond what is tortious. This is no tortfeasor. This is a co-conspirator of murder, engaging in acts of violence based on what is the intent to retaliate regarding evidence that the entity is unlawfully keeping under surveillance, and it is an agency engaging in that on behalf of the terrorist agency, the Ontario Police Department. The kidnappers and the murderers who are obsessed with monitoring my vagina, molesting my person, molesting my breasts, my buttocks, my thighs, all of my person while they are stalking directly and vicariously. They're doing so with the entity that is establishing that they are in fact engaged in an agency, stalking and sharing in that sexual violence while I'm at this venue where the fake sun is rising, speaking to the agency that's engaged in sexual assault and battery while I'm at the bus stop where they are targeting. I just want to document this sexual violence by the City of Ontario, a sex offender. The City of Ontario that's engaged in domestic terrorism, and every household that feels the City of Ontario sharing in that. Sex offenders who are immigrants subject to deportation, sex offenders who are custodial, guardians, parents, subject to what is loss of custody of their children. While they commit, you need to understand the government commits sexual violence against you. It's not a random act of violence. It's nothing that they have to investigate. These are the demon-possessed that engage in such acts of violence with regard to ceasing to silence you, to harass you, to retaliate against you, to teach you a lesson. Those are the psychopaths that are stalking under the fake sun. And they are committing that. I will, again, publish the license plates of the people of the state. Every airline at the Ontario International Airport is sharing in sexual assault and battery. And they are doing so while they are witnessing the evidence. That's what's relevant regarding Southwest Airlines clearly targeting. The federal case is not missing the fact that the airport is not only targeting, it's relevant the fact that I'm capturing evidence and they are going out in the video documentation, going out of their way to include themselves in evidence speaking to sexual violence that this entity committed. That's the entity that's monitoring, pursuant to what is relevant to psychological torture, acting with impunity, repeating the act. Okay, reiterating the intentional harm behind being sexually assaulted and battered and gang stalking by plane in the midst of that video evidence. Understand that's relevant to damages. It's relevant to the criminal charges. A gang stalking pilot to go into federal prison. That's where they belong. Okay, this is an entity that shares in sexual violence, committed sexual assault and battery as an agency. Okay, these are all third parties. That's the Bucket Crab and Crawfish, El Pescador. You have Truth and Love Ministries, a gang stalking church. Starbucks, Arco, Chevron, Bethel Congregation, where the fake sun is over me now, okay? This is the entity, and just give you an example. It's every business, everyone, every household, every third party. I'm documenting those that are just crossing path. It's the entire state of California because this is not the sun, all right? Second of all, the entity is engaging in what is an agency through businesses like Omnitrends who are gang stalking. All right, the entity is maintaining this engineered environment when you are not forgetful of the fact that I am at this same location after 12 o'clock in the afternoon where they are honking like they don't know whether I'm getting on the bus or not. It's activity creation in the engineered light. Where you are molesting me with engineered light, you know exactly who I am. When you are touching my buttocks in the middle of the night under the fake moon that remains over me everywhere I travel at nightfall, and the fake sun is rising and setting over me all during the day, you know exactly who it is I am. You know exactly who I am as you are engaging in the pattern of conduct. This ongoing psychotic means of failing to act like you're not gang stalking, especially at this juncture with this level of evidence. This is the exact same evidence that is not accomplishing the corrupt government's purposes. You do not appear as though you're not targeting. You appear as though you are delusional and psychopathic. Failing in the secret conspiracy to murder, fully exposed in that conspiracy, and continuing with regard to an ongoing obsession with, in fact, vagina monitoring. This is where the entity is maintaining the fake sun. And this is where the entity is maintaining that fake sun. As I'm capturing that, I'm going to show you where that pattern is showing that clear agency. Ontario Police crossing path right now at 8:41 a.m. under the fake sun that's remaining over me at this same exact location, Bethel Congregation, okay? Bethel Congregation is where the entity is maintaining this fake sun. Let me go ahead and show you this. This is the fake sun that's over me now. This is Ontario Police. They're crossing the path on this street right here as soon as I change functions, so you don't see that vehicle. But you've seen them gang stalking very foolishly on an ongoing basis when I'm capturing the same images they're going to regret. I mean, literally. Their mother, father, their spouses, their children are going to be shedding tears because the demons of the Ontario Police Department are fools, and they're going to be broke, and their families deserve to not have any money to survive when their significant others are going to prison, when they're going to be prosecuted as terrorists, when they are done with law enforcement, and they don't get a dime, because that's exactly what's happening. Those are terrorists, and they're facilitating terrorism, while a sex offender, on behalf of the sex offenders of the Ontario Police, rub on my buttocks in the middle of the night. And who are you going to call when you're sexually assaulted, and when you're subject to sexual assault and battery, when it is the police themselves? Those are the ones that are committing kidnapping, like Craig Hazelwood under the fake sun. He's aiming a spotlight on me. That's what the fake sun purpose is during the day. He's a demon. You do not call the sex offenders pursuant to what is criminal summoning, threatening your life. The entity is going to federal prison for sexual assault and battery. That's why the Ontario Police are going to federal prison. While the airport is stalking, that's why the Ontario Police Department are subject to disbanding in federal prison. While the population is stalking under what is a fake sun, that's over me right here at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Let's look at it again. Because this is where the entity is committing what is sexual assault and battery in the middle of the night, pursuant to what is an intent to harass me, to threaten me, to violate me, because of my evidence that they are sex offenders, that their vagina monitors is no longer some sort of theory that everyone's questioning, and you're questioning because you are engaging in this pattern of conduct, you are facilitating it, you are sharing in it, you are justifying it. Okay, but aside from that, I'm prosecuting right now. The entities engaged in this pattern of conduct, and it is a fact that the Ontario Police Department are vagina monitors. And while I document that, the entities engaged in what I already have a body of evidence of, committing ongoing violence, sexual violence, physical violence, ongoing threats to commit violence, as I'm showing you everywhere that I'm sleeping, such as the Ontario Museum of History and Arts. This is evidence that I'm showing you in 2022. The Ontario Police is being disbanded for the ongoing violence that I'm subject to while they've been maintaining this pattern of conduct. And last night, this entity, the state of California, the U.S. government commits sexual assault and battery while I am, it's a sexual battery, okay, because I don't see it coming. So under the law, this is the entity that's, again, engaging in what is an ongoing means of harassing and battering while you're hitting the bench. It's activity creation. Okay, so they're monitoring while they're harassing, doing so in the specific environment where they're molesting with their head. It's not their headlights, it's engineered light. In the same way, this isn't sunlight, it's engineered light. So the sex offenders engaging in that last night and then engaging in what is touching my buttocks. Mike Lorenz is going to prison because of his obsession with my body, with my anatomy. That the millions of dollars that he uses on technology to keep my vagina under surveillance. The people in the state whom he is acting with, conspiring and targeting me and stalking me in bathrooms all throughout Ontario, which is the state of California's pattern of conduct. This is P.O.C. This is documentation of the fake sun, the agency that is established by virtue of the fake sun here, and it's still here at 12:36 p.m. when I'm at this building right here, hovering over the roof. It's lower than it is right now, and it's still staying not only here, but it's over me right here. Speaking to the entity touching on my buttocks last night, and the entity acts on behalf of those that are being disbanded, and they're not getting a dime when they're fired and they're removed from law enforcement as terrorists, the Ontario Police Department. This is P.O.C. 5XST129, license plate 9MYJ906, and every license plate that I'm going to publish today are sharing in that. They are sex offenders. They're being federally charged for assault with the intent to obstruct justice, harassment, because I'm documenting, because I'm reporting, because I'm prosecuting. They're unlawfully interfering with a federal case, an ongoing federal investigation, and it's state action, and they're going to be prosecuted as such. Terrorists that commit acts of violence, further terrorism, because of the ongoing federal case, their delusion is speaking to more time in prison. More people, all of them are being deported. The city of Ontario is being gutted out, and I mean that. They are being gutted out. This is P.O.C. It is currently 8:46 a.m. under the fake sun at 537 North Euclid Avenue.